In the name of God, in whom we live and move and have our being. Amen. Please be seated. The disciples said, "Lord, teach us to pray." There's a wonderful poem written by Mary Oliver, simply entitled Praying. And in some ways, all that I'll be able to say in the next 8 or 9 minutes or so adds nothing more to what this remarkable woman is able to express in 10 lines of poetry. Praying. It doesn't have to be the blue iris. It could be weeds in a vacant lot or a few small stones. Just pay attention, then patch a few words together and don't try to make them elaborate. This isn't a contest, but the doorway into thanks and into a silence in which another voice may speak. In the light of Mary Oliver's wisdom, may I first say prayer should be kept simple. By that I mean not that our prayer should be simplistic, Lord, give me this, this and this, but that we should not overly complicate the sense of what prayer is. One of the most fundamental aspects of our faith is prayer. And in fact, it's one of the few common aspects of all faiths. The concept that the deity being worshipped in a particular religion desires prayer, praise, and petition to be directed towards it. In our own case, of course, we believe in a God who so desires a relationship that this God has communicated with us since time began, who was revealed in the person of Jesus Christ and continues to be revealed to us to this day. But the truth is, people have been praying to God for millennia now, and the vast majority will never have attended a workshop on how to pray or even had a discussion with anyone else about how they pray or what they do. And it seems to me the reason for this is partly our reticence as humans to talk about such things, but also because prayer is in some ways a bit like second nature. That our instinct as human beings is to call to mind those things that concern us or issues that surround us in the world and to ask God for help. And in many cases, this is not even a conscious action. And yet, many people feel that they do not know how to pray, or that they might be doing it wrong. It's certainly a fact I've found as a parish priest over the years when it comes to populating rosters. The morning tea roster, tick. Reading roster, tick. Even the welcoming roster, tick. The intercessions roster, oh no, Father, I couldn't possibly do that. And even the disciples in the gospel today, Lord, teach us how to pray. And the truth is that prayer, real prayer, is something that can take us into unfamiliar territory. And the deeper that we journey into this experience of prayer, into the experience of intimate relationship and communion with God, the more unfamiliar the territory becomes. and the fewer and fewer people that you will find who've actually been there. And so the question arises, how do we find the way? How do we negotiate this unfamiliar terrain when we haven't been there before? Let me offer just a few simple principles. First of all, thank God for the desire to pray. Most of us are here today because we want to pray, to discover more about God through prayer. Former Archbishop of Canterbury, Michael Ramsey, used to speak of wanting to want to pray on his bad days. Brother Roger of Taizé said that some days he dragged his tired old body to the chapel simply as a sign of his desire to pray. And so even on the days when prayer does not come easily, give thanks for wanting to want to pray. And then don't panic if and when darkness engulfs you. Don't make things worse with guilt or despair. However you're feeling, know that God simply is. When you can't pray, let others pray for you or believe for you, and do the same for them. Find out what it is that lifts you up. Close your eyes, listen to music, or open your eyes and look at the sky, the sun, the clouds. Whatever lifts you up, there is the grace of God. And if nothing seems to make sense, simply hold a cross in your hand, and with that symbol be alongside Jesus. That in itself is prayer. Pray as you can, not as you can't. But do try and experience different ways of praying. If you ever have the opportunity to stay at a monastery or an abbey, join the monks or the sisters in their silence and chanting. Experience the joy and the beauty of a choir at evensong. Our cathedral choir is wonderful. Or if it's you, find a choir with whom you can sing. Remember, St. Augustine said, whoever sings prays twice. Importantly though, be honest in your prayer. Be the real you. As our prayer each Sunday reminds us, all hearts are open and no secrets are hidden before God. So shout and scream at God if you need to. The psalmist certainly did, and God is certainly big enough. And yet Jesus commended the honesty of the tax collector, who could only say, God, forgive me, a sinner. The most basic prayer. As Jesus commanded, use the Lord's Prayer. Pray it phrase by phrase, as well as saying it as a whole. It contains praise and penitence and petitions for sustenance and guidance and protection. It's pretty comprehensive in itself. And finally, remember that as you pray, it is God's Spirit praying within you. Maybe with groans rather than words, as St. Paul said in Romans 8. And as a Benedictine monk said of his community, we don't pray, God prays in us. We are told, search and you will find, because it is not going to be handed to us on a plate. But as with other areas of life, so in prayer, you will sometimes benefit more from the searching than you will the eventual finding. But above all else, as Mary Oliver says, remember to keep it simple. It doesn't have to be the blue iris. It could be weeds in a vacant lot or a few small stones. Just pay attention, then patch a few words together and don't try to make them elaborate. This isn't a contest, but the doorway into thanks and a silence in which another voice may speak. Speak into the silence, O Lord. Your servant is listening. In the name of Christ. Amen.